FMR 101.3.
I have with me printmaker Kit Doyer, and she's going to tell us about a project that she's been working on, I think, for some time. Kit?
Yeah, it has been a year that I've been working on the project. As a printmaker, you have a good idea of what technology does, and I'm interested in how to use those classical printmaking skills and then bring them in complement to social media.
But let's start at the beginning. When you talk about classical, let's be more specific.
Yeah.
As opposed to?
It's those age-old, older crafts, if you will, to draw, just to be able to draw. And that's something that I've always enjoyed doing. And then it's how to bring that into a kind of a more productive arena, yet productive in less of an industrial sense, but more of the art of producing. How do you as a person then become somebody who is the source of that production?
So it's the creative process done in a somewhat different way.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's the creative process with complement of what it is that production has produced over the century. But yeah, it is. It's a creative process within a more experimental social media context.
Now tell us about the social media context.
Yeah. Social media is something that seems to be trend-driven. And then you think to yourself, are you following those trends or are you creating those trends? And as an artist or an entrepreneur, you'd want to be the person that creates the trends. So it's a project that's experimenting with that ability to have a ripple effect. As a person that can then have an idea, and is that idea something that's simply a result of a trend that resonates with the trend, or is that idea the beginning of something?
Are you using the social media platform to interrogate those ideas, or are you showing them things and
Well,
getting
it's a
feedback?
context. So I've been using the context for my Labyrinth project.
Okay, so let's start with the Labyrinth Project. We now have the title,
Yeah.
and let's try and define that.
It's a series of 4 drawings that I'm bringing into silkscreen. So the 4 drawings are then going through the process of being silkscreened. And in order to take those drawings further in process, there needs to be funding. So it's how to use your creative abilities, your understanding of technology in order to generate that funding. And one of the platforms to do it in would be then through something like Thunderfund. But what comes to the fore then is that Thunderfund is nothing if it's not in complement with something like a gallery. So that's why this silkscreen is going to be exhibited at the Cape Gallery on the 7th of November with First Thursday. So that's the first 2 silkscreens that I have generated the money to create. So the project itself is looking at the idea of how do you generate, through the creative sphere and the help of social media as well as high art, the ability to then continue the process.
So it's really a very layered affair. It's sort of postmodernism taken to another extreme.
Well, it's applied.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the 2 silk screens that you'll be showing, you said it's part of a series. What do you have in mind? What is the message you're trying to get across in terms of it being a series related to what?
Well, I like to work with location. So I'm very much grounded in Cape Town at the moment. So I go to locations and visit those locations and then record those through drawing.
Can you talk about the locations, or are they not specific?
Yeah. The location so far started with Lion's Head. So that was a location that I've always sort of seen. It's a view from my childhood home. And it's the first silkscreen. Then the second silkscreen is Buckoven Beach. That's a location that I visited. I was on a bicycle and I rode there, and then photographed it, and later went back to take videos in that location, and have produced a second silkscreen, which is Buckover Beach. Then the next silkscreen would be Nursery Ravine, and then the silkscreen, which is an area that I've been also on walks in, again in the Cape Town area. So all of these locations are locations that are close to me. But part of the project was how do I bring in other people in order to generate. And in working with an online platform such as Thunderfund, I have then been able to collaborate with an artist, John Bauer.
Ceramicist.
Ceramicist. He's put forward necklaces. And also with Robert Stone, who's a local musician. So there's a website. So if you were to Google Thunderfund Labyrinth Project, you would see more about the project.
Can you just repeat that, because that's very useful? Thunderfund.com/project/labyrinth, I believe.
Yes. So that would be how you would get to the project, and then the project is then complemented by other what would the word be? Ingenuity that I put forward in terms of placing the artwork in locations such as the Cape Gallery for First Thursday on the 7th of November.
So we'll be able to see it in reality, but in the meantime, one can go to Thunderfund.
You can see it virtually. In the meantime, you can see it virtually. And this has always been the thing, because when you see it virtually, it makes an impact, but it doesn't make as much of an impact.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's always just, it's a useful reference when it comes to art, because you need to see it, you need to confront it, you need to get a sense of scale, mark making, all those things which turn virtual into reality.
And once you've got the real object, you can move forward.
So, we're speaking to Kit Doyer. It's about the Labyrinth Project. If you want to have a look and see, you can just go to thunderfund.com/project/labyrinth, and you'll be able to see it in virtual reality.
And if you want to see the real thing, then you'd go to the Cape Gallery on the 7th of November and look at the Impressions exhibition.
Great, and that's part of the First Thursday project. So that's the way to see it, guys, and do be supportive. We've been speaking to Kit Doyer.
FMR